at the moment. Okay, let's get to work. This thing I don't know what to talk about right now. I have to fix a boot, so it's not. It's
Are you already live?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not very interesting. I gotta. It's so full of crud that. Well, everybody kind of comes late anyways, and might as well have a little prep time. And, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna dull the knife, so I'll be back. I need a different tool for the job. Okay, is anybody here? Have any? Oh, we got a couple of people. Hey guys. Carrie. How's it a chat if nobody's chatting? Weekend's been awesome. Very busy. I just have to go get a couple things. Busy weekend as usual. I don't know. Lots of horsey stuff as always. I'm fixing boots at the moment. This is not gonna work. New tool. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna find the right tool for the job, so I'm just gonna have to make do with what I've got. I'm fixing boots because Gracie keeps tearing her boots off, and so I've got to fix them. What are you gonna do? What do you got, Zeus? Zeus is busy. It's been hot today, so he's been kind of worn out. But it's cooler now, so he's busy. Zeus. I don't even know if you guys can see him, but he's going nuts. Must have heard a mouse or something. What can I say? I think in my last video I talked a little bit about how Gracie's booted right now on her back feet. I did another video, but I haven't posted it because I didn't really get it quite organized the way I'd wanted it to, without it being sort of lacking information. I mean, it had a lot, but what do you get? What is it? Where's the mouse? Zeus is fun. Put it that way. Right now I'm just cleaning out the screws that are in here because I need to take the screws off, because essentially what she's done is she's broken off the gaiter. Here there's a piece that comes up. Looks like this. And so this plastic bit is just sewed onto the fabric and it goes there. But this part is missing because she tears it off. So whatever. Horses. You know, I was talking to somebody else and they said something along the lines of, you know, a lot of times that I really like horses. And then sometimes I don't like them. Let me see, I just got a message. What was it? Oh, it was okay. So, but it's temporary, you know, the time when you don't like them is kind of short. You bringing dessert? Can you bring dessert? I found 2 boots. Why do I have 3 size 0 boots? Why don't I have 4? I don't understand why I have a spare boot.
Didn't you get like a box of random ones where sometimes there was one? Because they don't come in pairs.
No. Boots don't come in pairs. You buy them one at a time.
And we met that one lady in a parking lot, remember?
Yeah. I'm always trying to mess around with the wrong tools. Okay, I can't find a single tool that I actually need, so I'm gonna have to continue to mess around. Which one am I working on? This one. Anyway, so Carrie, I think I saw you ask how's that coming along with Gracie's boots. Good. She's actually doing, I mean, she's kind of having problems with other things, like electrical fence lines. It's as if she forgets that they're electrified, touches them again, and then freaks out, breaks them. Well, they don't really get broken, they just sort of get torn off a little. And then I gotta fix them. But the bigger problem is she's got so much torque, she's got so much power that she ends up just twisting her boot off and breaking it. So we'll go take a look at her in a minute when I'm done. It's just a wrong tool. So fireside chat, hopefully we get a few people that have some interesting questions. This is not the right tool. This is better. See, I don't know where half my tools are. Half the time. I put them down and then they're gone. They walk away and stuff. They go find other things to do than staying where I left them. Okay, this one will come off. Next. Tool again. Now I swear I just dropped a There it is. Screw. I don't know if anybody's talking because I can't see the phone.
Okay.
Jenny's on it. So anyways, Gracie's feet are coming along well. Thanks for asking. It's going to be a couple of weeks before I can probably stop booting her. But that's not abnormal or weird. It happens and is an efficient way to deal with a problem sometimes. So that's what we're doing. I can't even remember if I mentioned what the problem is. I doubt I did.
Well, you could probably say it.
I think I did.
They're asking how much longer you got to wear the boots.
Boots are a couple weeks, depending on if everything goes well. Which I expect it to go. She's not lame or anything. She's not limping. She's not got any problems. I just have to protect the bottom of her feet because they're compromised by the trim that I had to do to get the stuff that was stuck in there out. So when you do that, this is such a pain. When you do that, you have a responsibility to make sure that you maintain integrity of the foot. Okay, this is just stupid. I need the right tools. I'm not doing it. Come on. Ah, there we go. I got it. Okay. It's one. 2 more to go.
All you need is one boot, right?
I need one boot. I need one boot. She only tore off one. If she's got 2, we're doing both back feet at the same time because I can't. So, in case anybody's coming late and wondering what I'm doing, I'm just fixing the boot because Gracie's tore the gaiter off. The gaiter is the part that goes on the pastern and holds the boot onto the foot. But she's ripped it. Arabians are fun. We love Arabians. I'm just kidding. She's good. She's smart, but she's just too scared of everything. I'm just going to leave that as is. All right. So,
That's a huge spider crawling into the fire. No, aboard!
there's a spider going on the fire.
Yeah, big guy is right here. Huge guy.
Let's name him.
Fred.
Fred.
Oh, wrong way, Fred. Nope.
So, you know, the reason for booting a horse can be many. Most of the time it's for people who want to trail ride and they don't want to shoe their horse. They want to have them go around without trouble. Why doesn't this fit?
I just have a dog that's staring at his cinnamon.
Zeus, no staring at cinnamon buns.
Literally staring at me, staring at me.
Ah, there we go. Okay. So usually people want to wear boots because they want to trail ride without shoeing, because their horse is a little bit sensitive on rocky conditions and stuff. And boots are really beneficial because they're very economical.
Carrie's asking if there's isn't there some sort of rubber type boot you can use?
This is a rubber type boot.
Spray on rubber type.
Spray on
I
rubber.
saw a video a while back, something about it.
No, I've never seen a spray on boot on a horse, but there are sort of epoxy based coverings you can put on the bottom of the foot. It's like fiberglass. It's like carbon fiber reinforced epoxy. And it creates a really hard sole. If you do it right, it stays for quite a while. But that's not our problem.
She's saying, oh, I think it was. Wait, yes, that is what I saw.
Yeah, it's called Hoof Armor. Made by a guy who came up with this recipe that seems to work really well. It's very popular. And essentially just allows the sole of the hoof to harden up more and grow instead of exfoliating off or being soft and wearing off prematurely. For horses that can't grow proper sole, Hoof Armor has been a lifesaver for many people, many horses. Okay, I think I'm done. I'd like to fix the other one too, just in case. So, Gracie's got great feet for the most part, except for this one problem. Now, her front feet have really come a long ways. They're almost fixed up to where I'm happy with them. And then the back feet, there's just some really deeply embedded stuff that won't come out on its own, so I have to more aggressively tackle it, which sucks because it's a lot of work. But luckily, she's here. I don't have to travel to fix her.
Can you turn your audio off?
Yeah, I'll change the microphone soon. Why, you can't hear me?
Yeah.
Here, I'll tell you what. Let's bring it in.
Reel it in.
I don't know what to do. Let's see. How about here to here, there, something like that. That might be better. Hopefully it's better, but I'll probably change out the microphone soon. But
oh, much louder. Okay, that's good.
much better.
Yep.
Better now.
Yay.
Um,
Oh, it's cute. Now you're big.
big.
It's a big girl.
The Hoof Armor is great. I don't have any. I haven't had a particular use for it here. So I haven't used it, but I know exactly what it is. I know the recipe for it. I know how I would recreate it if I wanted to, if I couldn't buy it. But essentially, it's just a simple mixture of epoxy with carbon fiber, and it just sticks to the bottom of the hoof if you do it properly. I've seen cases where it wasn't done properly and it just peels off because it can't adhere. Okay, these side ones are not coming off. Oh man!
No, right? That's how you sound. I'm doing it for you. And they can actually hear you. Carlos says, I can even hear Jet.
Yeah, when we don't use the, because you guys are going to hear the traffic too, and if the goats start up, you're going to hear them. Oh, they've been quiet today.
Maybe someone's feeding them.
Maybe somebody fed the goats. Maybe they're dead. It's a goat barbecue. Okay, forget it. I've already got one done. I need to do that one, but I better not lose that. But Gracie's case wouldn't help with hoof armor whatsoever because she's got something that needs to come out. If I were to put hoof armor on there, it would lock it back in. And the thing that's going on with her is there's some stuff that's really embedded deep inside that I think has been there for a really long time. I've been trying to trim it so that it could escape, but her foot is so fast to grow back over anything that I sort of cleared out, and then it's soft, so more gets in and stuff. It's just not going well. It's finally become that time where I just tackle it, just deal with it. So to put hoof armor on would inhibit the ability for the crap that's in there to come out. So we need to use just boots, because essentially it just keeps everything out of the bottom of the foot. Now we just got to put it on her and hopefully it'll stay on.
That's the plan.
Where'd the duct tape go, do you know?
Where did you put it when you're done? Probably in a small barn.
Okay, let's go boot Gracie.
Okay.
You guys are coming with us. Let's go do this job.
Gotta lose my wine?
We'll leave the wine. We'll be back. No drinking and booting. Okay, that goes there. Oh, there it is. The duct tape so I can make her.
Show Carla the counter. She said you should do a video on how to organize a toolbox. As I explained, that would not be your forte.
Do a video on how to organize a toolbox. I am not your man for that. It's not my job. Not my forte. Okay, so here we are with Gracie. She's still got one boot on, so I'm going to stick the other one on now. Here. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, yeah, let's do this. Hello, big girl. Okay, what have you got going on? Let's see. Hey, wait. Don't fight. Okay, step under it. Any questions?
No. Apparently, Carla was saying there's a horse therapy center is coming to my town and they want volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
So she's super excited.
Okay.
Yeah, she's being very good.
She's great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, pull it back. Come on.
She's been really snuggly lately. Haven't you?
Okay.
Carla says she's exciting news. I was going to tell them, I think that you have exciting news.
Not right now.
Oh.
little bit.
Okay. No excitement on our end yet.
Free.
Whoop.
This is not another boot. I just broke this one off. Yes, you did. Okay, so she's free. I had to have her on stall rest while I was waiting to fix that. Some horses take the boots okay. Some horses don't. Gracie's one of the don'ts. Or does not take well to boots. But doing much better. She's had them for over a week, so there you go, people. Boots on a very, very good horse. She's very good about it. She didn't fight me. She held nicely. And so far so good. She's not tap dancing. She's not trying to kick him off.
I'm surprised.
Oh, God. Okay, let's go back to the fire.
Wind.
Unwind with wind. Okay, back we go. Okay, let's talk about boots a little bit. Let's talk about why on earth am I taping them on? What's with that? Why not just do other things? Why? There's Lena. She's wondering where the carrots and the apples are.
Oh, you can tell David that I gave her her apple.
Jen gave Lena her apple. There you go.
She shared with her friends.
She shared with her friends. Okay, so we might have a problem with audio. Let me think about what to do about that. So let's just do this for now. And I will sit over here.
Audio is great.
Okay, I'm hungry.
Cinnamon buns right there.
Sit near the thing until we change out the audio, I guess. What should we do about the audio? Kind of frustrating.
Just cut off Jen's head.
Really?
I guess not anymore. I'm in it, I think. I see my own head, but maybe when you were doing something.
There you go. Okay, it's dessert and coffee time, and talk about boots and stuff, because we're here for
A good time?
information, right?
Not a long time? We'll have a good time?
That's a good joke.
It's a song. It's not just a
Yes,
joke.
I know what it is.
Oh, well. You didn't know.
Haley left this on the stairs in the arena and it landed on the ground because the horses played with it. Don't leave your stuff in the arena.
The glass.
It's glass. Didn't break though. Nothing wrong with it, just a little sandy.
Just sit by Jen so we can hear you both.
Well, I'd have to move the whole camera over, and then you wouldn't be able to hear me or her. So she'd have to come sit over this way.
Oh, or you could move the camera.
And then they can't see the fire.
Well, if you moved it there, they could.
You'd have to move over here.
Oh, geez, we all accommodate.
Well, otherwise you can't see the fire.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to do that. Because we're just using the phone microphone right now. Maybe we should just change out the microphone.
This is an omelet.
So you're catering to the internet. Because that's what really means.
Yeah.
What a day. Still getting organized around here. Okay. I don't know what to do about this audio. It's a YouTube thing. I'm not very technical, you know.
Yeah. There. Better? Do we look relatively good? I can't reach it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. You're a star.
Booting. Why am I taping it on? I bet some people must be thinking. What's with that? What are you doing? Like I said, the booting process, and I'll talk more in the future probably. and get better understanding of the hoof problem that's going on. It's not an uncommon one. It's just I tried the slow way to deal with it, but it didn't work out. So now I'm doing it the fast way, a relatively fast way, but it's more intense and it's more. The thing is, I'm actually doing it probably the hardest way possible right now because I don't want to put her on stall rest. And a lot of times when you have horses that are injured or just need to stay still for a while, you'll stick them on stall rest. Macaroni was on stall rest for 2 months.
Yeah.
And I still have to tell that story, but he essentially had a pastern injury. And it was bad. He had 7 stitches, I think. I can't even remember now. I took them out. How many was it? 5, 6, 7? I don't know. There's a bunch of stitches in his pastern because he either hurt himself on something or he got into a kicking fight and probably got kicked. That's what I think. It's irrelevant. I bandaged him, took him to the vet. Vet patched him up, brought him back. And then he was on stall rest for 2 months. And that was being really careful, you know. We probably could have taken him off stall rest earlier than that, but it really wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth, you know, say a couple of weeks of his life of being still, not moving around too much, compared to if it would open and back up, maybe it'd get infected. You know, you never know. So you just take that. So what I don't want to do is stall rest her because she's crazy enough as it is, and I don't like stall rest if I can help it, and I can help it. I can help it with boots. So that leads to the boots conversation. And the reason that it's the hardest is because I literally could just tape her up, put her on stall rest in one of the stalls, and leave her there for a couple of weeks, kind of thing. But it's not a very happy existence. It's hard on the horse emotionally, I think, and so I'd like not to. So that's that. That's how it goes. That's my life now. So booting her. So I boot her so I can protect the bottom of the foot. And then I'm taping them on because I could glue them on. I could do glue-ons, or I could cast her feet, put casts on them. Casting's a little bit expensive. Glue-on's not so expensive, but only if you leave them on for a few weeks at a time. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to take them off every 3 to 4 days, maybe 5 at most. Inspect, trim a little, just kind of keep trying to get that stuff out of there. Treat it to make sure that no fungus or bacteria starts to grow. Put the boot back on, tape it back up, and then another few more days. And we've got about 4 to 5 cycles of that. I expect that the stuff that's in there should be out. So that's the plan. That's why I'm not casting it. That's why I'm not gluing it. That's why I'm not permanently or longer term temporarily attaching it. But it's the most intensive because you've got to do the most care. But it's not micromanagement. I'm not dealing with it every day. But she has to stay relatively quiet. The problem is our paddocks are kind of big, so she has the ability to run around a little. So when she does that, she breaks the boot. That's what I'm doing now, fixing the boot because she breaks the boot. Hence the most intense way to deal with the problem. Is it the best? No, that's subjective. Yes and no, it's the best. No, because it's a pain. But so far it's successful. It's going well. This fire's kind of hot.
It is hot.
Oh yeah, dessert. Anybody wondering anything? Probably not.
Someone was asking where you were from. They were trying to pinpoint your accent. I think you said the word process funny, she said. Yep.
The process? If I say it with a mouthful of cinnamon buns, does it sound any better?
We're talking about how hot and humid it is for most of them. Because we're sitting here with very cool weather this year. Oh, yeah, there was a question. Can boots be worn on a horse while they do any kind of activity or events?
Yeah, boots are very popular in the eventing world now. They're getting more and more popular. All types of races, barrel racing. Um, I'm not sure if the thoroughbred world has got into boots yet, but I think I've heard some stories. I know they're in the barrel racing world. I know they're in dressage. I know they're in equitation, working equitation. I know they're in endurance. In fact,
Yeah, it's kind of
they are heavily
Yeah.
in endurance. So if you think about it that way, usually they're glued on though. For endurance races, they usually glue them on because just strapping them on with a gaiter, or even if you were to tape them, they probably wouldn't hold. So they're not necessarily for super intense long-term work like that, but a lot of horses do wear them and do fine. They do great, and then they're not shod. So when they go back out to pasture, they can just be barefoot. You just take the boots off.
Olive Stream says she's reading Last Chance Mustangs. So sad. Thanks for the referral. Great read.
Last Chance Mustang, yeah. If anybody new is here, which I doubt, but if you're new here, Last Chance Mustang book was really good. Pretty sad, yeah. Hard. A lot of gaps in the story that I wish I knew more about. I wish I could ask questions about. It's a good book. It's informative.
Nope. I'm okay.
So, but it's hot and humid here too. But we're not getting.
It's 18 degrees Celsius today. These people have 104 Fahrenheit.
It's 18 right now, but we got up to
No.
probably 28 or so today for sure.
No. You're a crap you got an adorable. She says, that's adorable. We say it like process. Process instead of process, I guess.
Yeah, but process is what you Southern people say.
Yeah, I guess she's Southern. She spells it with an A, so I think that's what she's trying to say. David says that even online, Greenhawk, at least online, does not carry UVEX helmets.
Oh.
And then she's laughing at how we say process. I always wanted to have a Southern accent.
No.
I used to practice it because my name's Jenny Lee, so I always thought it was perfect. Jenny Lee? I have a Southern name. Jenny Lee? I bet if you guys could say it, it would sound way cooler than I say it, though. I don't have a Southern accent.
Yeah, I'm way too Canadian to sound like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I could pull it off without an immense amount of practice. Yeah, so Canadian, West Coast, near Vancouver, we're said to pretty much have a neutral accent, actually. The west coast of Canada and America tend to have a more neutral accent. We don't have a slant or a twang or any of those things. So, highly coveted. In fact, fun fact, when I went to Japan to teach English, Canadians were the most sought after English teachers. In comparison to Southern, I knew a guy who was from Texas. I knew some people who were from the East Coast, so they had their own accent. But the girl there, actually, I remember her. She says, I do have an accent when I talk, when I'm not thinking about it, but I try to remove it when I'm teaching. I said, yeah, well, I just talk like this. This is just me.
This says, did you pick up a U.S. accent from somewhere? I think you did. But Olive Street says, I like you say out.
Why do you guys have to do that?
Because you sound like you say oat, but we don't say that. We say out.
Out?
Not oat.
Oat is a type of grass.
Yeah.
I'm not going oat.
I love the way you guys say out. You say oat.
It's just out. It's just out. It's normal.
Out? What? We just
Going
say
out.
out. Yeah.
Going out. Now take it out.
Where's Aida? Where are you, Aida?
Ida.
Ida? Oh, that's. I knew an Ida, but it was AIDA. She says you guys sound like us here, Canadian-like accent.
Canadian-like accent.
Or Canada-like accent. Where is she?
Where's Ida? Ida, aren't you on the East
No,
Coast?
she's Toronto, of course.
Yeah, she's East Coast.
Yeah.
I don't remember everybody, but some people
Yeah.
I remember. Well, we've got Ireland, France, England, all kinds of places. Obviously Canada and the States.
A lot from Texas and Arkansas and stuff right now.
Yeah. Temperature, we're doing pretty good so far. I mean, it's usually a little bit hotter, but I think our hot weather is coming. There's a lot of loud traffic.
Yeah.
What is happening? Everybody
Saturday
go home.
night. Party time.
Stop driving by the house.
You are not welcome in our neighborhood.
Oh, welcome. Go away. Anyway, so that's sort of that's the short version of Gracie's boots thing, and she's great. She's gonna come out of it just fine, just like her front feet. You know, just stay the course, stay steady on it. Everything goes well. Well, I just had a comment come through. Oh, that was Facebook. Let's see,
Any
what else?
fires in BC? There's been a few, but very small this year. We've had a lot of rain, so it's kept them at bay. Even all the way in Calgary, they're not really having any fires. So
Yeah, we're not having a lot of fires right now.
yeah, it's
Nice.
good. Yeah.
Last year was our worst year,
Yeah,
I think.
that was terrible.
And they expected it to get worse. I mean, actually, it was the year before, I think, when we had the huge smoke cover for weeks. And I went up for a ride. I took my GoPro and I color corrected the footage to look normal, but then I switched over to what it actually looked like, which was this foggy golden brown sort of look. It was really rough. So, anyways, yeah. So we've had pretty good luck this year with fires in the forest. Hopefully it continues. We've had a little bit of rain on and off, but it's supposed to be dry for the next few days for sure. We'll see. Hopefully the summer just stays calm.
Somebody says, you never told the story about the baby Frisian. And somebody else says, yes, I'd love to hear the baby Frisian story.
New viewer, Virgo 11.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
The
she
deep
says.
love of horses. Volunteer local rescue therapy, barn capacity, trying to learn everything. We have our own horses when we move. Therapy and rescue places are great places to learn about horses because generally the horses are pretty calm. You're not going to have horses that spook at too many things, so they're a good place to start. But I would encourage you to check out. I mean, if it's a rescue place, then they might have horses that are not so calm. So I'm making an assumption. But to work at a therapy place can be very, very nice because you can just slowly bring yourself into the horse world and brush them, hang around with them, chit chat, lead, things like that. Rescue places can be very, very informative as well if you go to the right kind of places where you get all these horses in that are usually pretty skittery. Maybe they've got some health problems, and there's a real wide variety of things that you can pick up. Probably be the equivalent of working in, I don't know, like a clinic, not a hospital, because that'd just be too much, but like a small medical practice. Seeing things from nosebleeds to slivers to common colds to pneumonia, whatever. Rescue places can see it all. What was that one? Oh,
Baby Frisian story.
Baby Frisian story. Oh, that's right, because I remember the last time I started to get into it and then something caught my attention and then I didn't tell the story.
No.
There's not a heck of a lot to tell about that little thing. She was adorable. She was really nice to have here. I was able to play with her a little bit. She was only here for a month because the owner had bought 2 of them at $6,000 a piece. Discovered that she couldn't afford 2, gave 1 back. Then it wasn't long before she figured out she couldn't even afford 1 and gave it back.
Oh,
It wasn't bought with money that she actually had. She had borrowed the money, and so Not one of those investment things because when you got to work with a baby, you got to really work with them. So she happily went back to her the breeder. The breeder, is a good breeder, takes her back, and then she has gone on to, I think, where is it? Either the Netherlands or Sweden or something. She took a plane trip and
Oh, wow.
across the water. Yeah, so she's long gone. But she was a nice little thing to have, and just a nice, cute little, inquisitive, fun baby to have here. Not ours. Was just boarded for a month.
She's the youngest we've ever had, right?
She's the youngest horse we've ever had. Yeah, for sure.
How old was what's her name? You know, Duke's sister.
3.
3.
Yeah. So that's the baby Frisian story. It's not very big, long. Nothing too much to say about her. It's a good little thing. Liked her. Would never want her. I don't want a $6,000 baby horse. So.
They actually come from Friesland in Holland. That's where they get their name, I guess.
I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Frisians myself, so.
Beautiful. I have a wiener dog. You sure do.
Oh, Carrie left. Bye, Carrie.
Gotta go to bed.
Let's see. See if the boot can last 24 hours.
That's really foolish. I had no idea there was a specific place where all Frieslands came from.
Oh yeah, David's helmet thing.
Oh, yeah.
David, yes, your helmet problem.
Maybe just in store?
I would call them.
Oh, good idea.
I wouldn't look online. I would give them a call. Cause I got mine from Greenhawk, right?
I actually have no idea. Or Stampede. No.
It was definitely Greenhawk.
Yeah.
I got mine from Greenhawk.
Yeah.
So I would give them a call and just see if they carry that brand. You'd probably do just pretty good with the Tipperary as well. I mean, they're a pretty good brand and they're pretty comfy. They cover down the back of the head nicely. Protect the base of your neck. So, wow, there's a lot of cheese chat going on in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Tina lost her dog. Sucks. I've lost 2 cats recently. Ish. And a horse. 2 cats and a horse.
Yeah.
Zeus is on his way.
Yeah.
Next couple of years, I think. Maybe. See what happens. It's in pretty good health still. So. Anyway, so yeah, just busy, just constantly doing stuff. The wash station is on its way to being graveled and then concrete hopefully next week if everything goes well. The deck got outfitted with a new table and some chairs and an umbrella. 2 umbrellas actually because it's kind of hot in summer. What else? Fixed a lot of stuff, worked on Gracie, trained some horses. The horse that was supposed to come here on the 15th got delayed 5 days, I think, due to a trailer issue. So soon. And then just busy with appointments and stuff. So that's why videos have been a little less. Just trying to keep up with everything going on right now, and we'll be back at it. So I'm gonna do a little bit live.
I don't see any comments or questions, so I can't.
The goats are at it. I don't know if you guys can hear the goats, but the goats have started. They're not feeding them. What do they do? Do you think they let them out or trap them or something? Or somebody's teasing them with food and they start yelling for half an hour? It's food.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird because it just started up now.
Yeah.
Well, it's a
Yeah,
nice
maybe
night.
they start feeding the animals and then they get all excited instead of, horses.
Yeah,
That's what they sound like.
yeah. It's starting to get. I'd take you guys around a little bit, but it's starting to get a little bit darker. Sun's going down. It's almost down. It's just on the cusp. Way out there. I mean, what time is it anyways? 9 something or other? 9:30. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, I don't want to sit so close to the fire anymore, so I'm gonna put the camera maybe here. I don't know what to do with the camera. What should I do with the camera? Bear with me, everybody. I'm gonna lower the camera. It's just on a tripod, so it's easy to bring down.
Are you too
Like
hot?
so.
Is that your deal?
Yeah, it's too hot right next to the fire. So, but everybody wants to see the fire, I would think. Something like that. And then I'll move right there. And then hopefully you guys can hear the audio pretty good. And I can back off from the fire a little because it's pretty warm. Here comes Zeus. Hey, buddy. I just want to finish my coffee a little.
Got any more cinnamon bun there?
Nope, ate all the cinnamon bun. That's all
No
gone.
sharesies.
No sharesies or cinnamon bun, buddy.
How old is too old to ride a horse?
How old is too old to ride a horse?
Person or horse?
Person or horse?
I'm assuming Carla means the horse.
The queen still rides, so you can be pretty old to ride a horse. As for the horse, it really depends on the condition of the horse. Some horses can't be ridden past 15. You know, they're so wrecked. But a good health horse can easily ride into its mid-20s, late 20s maybe. But after that, they start to, slow down. I would sort of keep an eye on their health. Are they active? Do they run around? Do they play with their friends? Zeus, you're gonna cook next to this thing. It is hot. Gotta keep this fire low. So, it really is dependent on the horse. A good, healthy, sure-footed, strong horse that gets regular exercise, easily, I'd say mid-20s are pretty safe to kind of go into, and then keep an eye on things from there for sure. It's a good question. Yep. But a lot of them can't. A lot of them end up with hoof problems, some bone problem. If they've competed a lot and heavily, be arthritic and stuff, or ring bone, all kinds of things that end up sort of laming them. People will say my horse is lame on and off. It's from stress. It's no different than as you get older and you start running around, and sooner or later you're going to sprain something a little easier. Pull something a little easier. Pull a muscle a little easier. Requires stretching, warming up and stuff. So to consider that for older horses too. Right?
Got it.
What are you right?
Oh, David found it. Okay.
David found something? Good
A
job, buddy.
show that someone's talking about pit bulls and how they make great pets.
Pit bulls make great pets. I've heard a lot of things about a lot of breeds. There. Let's get things a little closer, so I can get a little further from the
Pit
fire.
bulls and parolees. Animal Planet. I wonder if I get Animal Planet. I don't even know. I don't watch TV very often, so. But I'd watch that. That sounds cute. That's a nice fire. All done gooders.
Yeah, it's the good wood. Whatever this wood is, it's burning great.
staying steady, and you don't really have
Well,
to
we
add
chopped
much.
there. What is it? Remember?
It's probably maple.
Okay.
Projects are constantly on the go here. I've got a couple more planned. I have another big item planned that I can't tell you about. I'm hoping everything will go well, but I can't tell you about it for a couple of weeks.
That long? No.
Cliffhanger.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks before I can say anything, I think. But if all goes well, it will probably be one of the coolest things that I think I've ever done. Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, one of the cooler things. Definitely one of the coolest things I will be able to show on this and share on this channel. I expect everything to go well, so otherwise I probably wouldn't say a word, but everything's kind of fallen into place, and so I don't want to say anything. I don't want to jinx anything. But it's looking good. I'm excited. I'm very excited. So yeah, I mean, amongst everything that's going on here, there's a lot of plans. Should be good. Can't say anything more. I want to, but I can't. I don't want to jinx it. I don't see. I'm already too excited about it. I'll probably jinx it. It's probably not going to work out. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Stop. Like it's their fault.
Yeah. It's the internet's fault.
I get it. No, it's not. Oh, interesting. We were just talking about kind of this today. How could you teach a horse to get down to the ground? But she's saying from mounting to ride. But we were just talking about getting a horse to get down. Get down, get down, get down. No, I'm just kidding.
It's on the internet forever now, yeah.
Whatever.
Um,
I'm a fun person.
I have seen plenty of tutorials out there. All you got to do is teach your horse to lay down. And there's lots of them out there. You start with the front foot, one of the front feet, and get the horse to lean down, and pretty soon they just start to lay down. There's quite a few ways to do it. Some people do it with the saddle on, some people do it with the saddle off. We were talking today that I wanted to teach Luke how to sit.
Yeah.
And
some horses are crazy.
I mean, there are plenty of people out there that do horse tricks for a living. They do shows, and they're very, very good at it. They've been doing it over and over again for years and years, and their horse just probably does it quite mechanically, which is good. There's nothing wrong. I'm not saying it's classical conditioning. Usually, you just do it over and over and over and over and over. So I started today with Luke. We started working on accurate side passing, and I didn't take it very far, but I wanted him to get something solid in his head. He can side pass pretty good, just with nothing around, but I had him side pass over top of a barrel, and it went pretty good. So I'm going to keep building on some of his tricks that I want him to do. I think he'll be sort of a trick horse. I think that'd be.
I thought you said that was going to be Lena.
Lena's already good at it.
I know.
You can get her to do stuff, and I don't know where it's come from. Whether she's just darn smart or somebody taught her. But on the flip side, I mean, I guess I gotta say, this last week and a half since starting on Gracie's feet, I started on her feet a good almost week and a half ago now, and Gracie is can be, not is, but can be quite volatile. Something will set her off. She'll completely lose her mind, or appears to completely lose her mind. She'll buck, she'll jump, she'll race off, she'll, she's one of those horses that is definitely got more of a react first, think later mindset. I mean, they all do, but hers seems stronger. Race around first and then think, oh, I'm safe. Hey, it's okay, it's a mouse. 40 feet away. Maybe more. And fast. Wicked fast, like a ninja. I mean, really, really quick. When I work with Lena, it's like working with an elephant. Just darn slow and ponderous. somewhat boring. Working with Gracie is an exercise of my own reflexes half the time. Um, I have to think ahead of her way more than I would Lena, for example. They're just so opposite in that regard. But one of the things that I'm really thinking more and more about her is she is very smart. She is borderline the smartest horse I think that I've come across. And you can see real intelligence in her eyes and sensitivity to anything that I'm thinking or doing. Whether it's I'm frustrated and unhappy, or I'm angry with some kind of dangerous situation I'm in, or she's really burnt and you know, climbing the walls kind of thing, and I'm not. Either way, she can read me really well, pick up on what I am thinking and feeling and what I want her to do, and responds to it.
Mhm.
Responds really, really, really well. Just like doing her feet, putting those boots on right now. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing to put them on, which is a far so much different than the beginning, and of course, way different than when she first came here, where nobody was even trimming her because she needed to be um, tranquilized. Now I walk up and she just picks up whichever foot I'm near. I'm really, really impressed with her brains, her smart intellect. Um, very, very impressed. So she might actually turn into a better trick horse than Luke, because Luke's a little dozy.
AKA spoiled.
Spoiled. I wasn't thinking spoiled with
Oh.
dozy.
No, right?
I was thinking a little bit slower than the average horse.
Don't say that.
Poor Luke. He's good. He actually did pretty good today. He's a good boy.
Supposed to be your favorite.
He's so much fun. He is a playmate, you know, in a way. It's just fun horse. So, but Gracie's really smart, and I've been thinking a lot about her lately, about what to do, because pretty soon she'll be out of these boots. She'll be back to being normal, I guess you could say. Feet should be fully recovered by the end of, I'd say by the end of probably July. I shouldn't, well, it's July now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's
By
only
the end of
been a
August,
week.
it's not June anymore. By the end of August, I expect her feet, all of them, to be very, very close, if not where I want them to be. And so I've been waiting on that to really excel her. And I've been thinking about how much time and she needs invested to get her to, so she's not so reactive, and instead she'll be more of a thinking horse, much more than she is now. I don't imagine you'd be able to take that reactive side. You know, you can't take it out of the horse, but you can take some of it out. But I think I'd be able to take less out than I might say, for example, Luke, who's much more. What is Luke? How do I mean, I want to say dozy, because he just stands behind me and falls asleep. You just touch his face and hold him. He's there. He just tunes out and just narcotic. But he literally just has so much trust, and when we walk,
Yeah.
he walks with his face on my back. He has complete trust that I'll take care of whatever the heck's happening. If anything does happen, he's probably the one that's going to get eaten. Yep, he'd be the dead one. Unless he can run faster than the others. Which he can, I don't know, he's probably faster than Lena. I think Lena's the slowest. Lena's fast, she's powerful.
He is only fast because he is the laziest. When we did those circles today, he was cutting everyone off to make the smallest circle
No, but
possible.
when they race up from the back.
But that's what I'm saying. When they actually race, he never even goes halfway. So he races them by starting halfway up, and he's like, "Look, I won." It's like, no, he didn't.
No, I remember some horsey observation videos, and him and Lena are racing.
Really?
And he gets ahead of her. He makes it ahead of her because she's got a lot to push.
Well,
and
but
all of
she's
our horses are
slimmer
out of
now
shape,
than
we
she used
discovered
to be.
today.
It'd be interesting. I wonder if we could set up horsey races.
After 5-10 minutes of sending them around, which we didn't get any video of, but you guys have seen it a billion times. But we were doing Liberty work for a little while today, and what is it, 10 minutes? Huffing and puffing like they're about to have a heart attack.
Lena was
There's a lot of air going
Yeah,
in and
it's
out.
hilarious.
So that's rough. They need to. We've been a little bit too easy on it. Too
Yeah.
much groundwork. Not
This
enough hard work.
This is funny. She's like, Luke can run faster than you, and that's all that counts. Which is
Luke can run
true.
faster than me.
He'd beat you, so you'd be the bear bait.
I would just hang onto his tail and slide.
There was
all.
a question. Oh, are you planning on?
Isis is there?
Yeah,
Oh,
Isis
hi,
is
Isis.
here. Are you planning on keeping Gracie's in the house? I can't remember who asked, but somebody asked.
Who asked?
Stella Bella.
Stella
Oh,
Bella.
that's so cute.
Stella.
Stella Bella.
The plan has always been to sell Gracie. It was the plan from the beginning. Very, very fast recap of her existence is that she was owned by a really nice older lady who had 4 or 5 horses. I don't know. She had a few horses. 4 horses. She happened to have an aneurysm at the barn. I think she died on the spot. She died right there. Very quickly. Either way, she
Unexpected.
passed away.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly. But she had already, her friends had already got a hold of me because she wanted Gracie trained because she knew that nobody would take her because she was so skittery and afraid of stuff.
And all her sisters and brothers were fine.
All of her sisters and brothers were fine. It's just Gracie who's
Just Gracie.
not got all her marbles.
Yeah.
So she was supposed to come to me for training, but of course she passed away. And then her friends were very, very nice and set up these horses to go. But they called me about Gracie, and obviously the rest is history. But we took a look and said, I don't know, and then there was just a couple of things that just set me on the path of let's just go get her. And one of them was that when we arrived the very first time, nobody had trimmed her for a year.
Yeah.
Somebody trimmed her for a year, I think. I could be wrong. Just don't quote me on that. But she hadn't been trimmed for a very long time. And they said that they need to tranquilize her. So I caught her and just trimmed her on the spot. I just dealt with it. I did her fronts. I don't think I did her backs.
No, just the front.
I just did the fronts. So I said, well, I'll come back in a couple of weeks. We'll see and stuff. And the other thing about it was nobody could get her halter off and a new one on. And it was put on with it was an old one. It was half broken, so it was put on with a piece of wire. So you had to really get in there, undo this little piece of wire that was on there. And I said, no, we can't leave her.
No.
The rest is history. She's here. I had somebody comment on the video of when I went to go get Gracie to put her on the trailer, and it was crazy, right? And somebody said that's not how you teach a horse to trailer.
Oh, I know.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I almost died. It was great.
No kidding. That is just the dumbest comment. I ended up deleting it because I just thought it was just that's not a helpful comment. Obviously, I'm not teaching a horse how to trailer like that. This is not a teaching moment. This is just to get her out of there. Everybody goes home, and then she's learned how to trailer since, obviously, and then that's that. So this is funny. Anyhow, so the plan was always to sell Gracie because I figured I could probably bring her back to good health, but get her in good shape, train her up to be sound and smart and acclimated to things, and probably get her to a decent state of riding, and somebody could take it from there. But she's so damn adorable, and I'm really getting quite attached, especially with all this work that I'm doing on her feet. I've been spending hours and hours quietly and alone with her, trying to get her to heal up. Sometimes when you're physically healing them, you feel like you're also mentally or emotionally healing them as well, because they put an incredible amount of trust in you. They have to stand patiently while you bandage them or trim them or boot them or cast them or clean them, any of these things. And the amount of patience she has had standing hours for me, I mean hours, while I just carve tiny little slivers and shavings off to get just the right amount of material to clean out just some tiny little, it's a very sensitive spot, and she lets me know that I've kind of poked a little bit too hard or a little bit too close to something, and she's been so good that it's I don't know. I don't want to say I don't know. Yes, she's going to be for sale.
That's what I already
Get rid of
said.
her.
I was like,
Get rid
sure.
of her.
Because Sue says, oh, we have to give approval. I was like, don't worry. Graham actually has to find someone that he would even agree to first. So I was like, we'll see how that goes. Apparently I missed a comment. Apparently something about the size of a rider on a horse and the long-term effects on a horse that would have.
There are regularly videos about the effects of one or more riders on a horse that exceeds an acceptable weight for the horse. Yeah, they're pretty common. You can see the fire. Really, eh? The fire's gone to one side.
Well, I see.
You guys want to see the fire? Right? I can see the fire because I'm here.
Well, I
There.
can build up the fire.
No. It's hot. I don't want any more fire.
Okay.
There we go. It's getting dark, guys. It's getting dark. Acceptable weight for a horse has generally been put at 20%. Now I say generally because it is super general. For any extended amount of time riding a horse, 20% of their weight is acceptable or has been deemed acceptable, but I would put a caveat in there that the horse must be healthy, must have sound legs, sound feet, sound back. Any of those items are not meeting sound or in good shape, I think you must minus off a few percent for each one. So if the hooves are kind of crappy, I would take off 3 to 4%. If the legs are kind of weak and they're not really holding up to all their bones, maybe they're arthritic or something, I'd take off another 3 to 4% kind of thing. If it's got a bad back, I would again take off another 3 to 4%. And if you had to take them all off, you'd be down to 10% of the horse's weight. And I think that's what's fair. You can also assess as you go. Some horses are very strong. They might be able to handle more than 20%. You might be able to get up to 25. Some pack horses pack around stuff that some people have them pack around something that exceeds 20%. See, pack horses are a little bit different because they don't have a human that's sort of wobbling side to side or back to front. If you have very good balance, you can exceed, I believe you can exceed 20%. If you're in really good balance and you're not throwing that horse off from its angles, front, back, side to side, you're not wobbly, you stay with them, your center of gravity is good, you don't cause them to stumble, you don't cause them to trip. Should be pretty good. And then of course there's the activity. What are you doing? Are you doing flat work? Are you hiking up a hill? Are you doing jumping? Again, these kinds of things, these high impact activities reduce the percentage. If you're doing jumping, it should definitely come down 5%. If you're doing high intensity endurance, again, definitely come down 5%. Make it easier. Err on the side of caution. Get a bigger horse than you need. I mean, a lot of the horses that I've ever seen that are bigger are awesome. I mean, Ohana that was here, I offered that girl. I said, you ever want to sell that horse, I'll buy it. She was great. Big horse. Probably handle a lot of people. I mean, what's she? She was probably what, 1,400 pounds or so? Easy. Big horse. Could handle somebody, a well-balanced rider could probably handle a 300-pound well-balanced rider. That said, though, when you are overweight, it is harder to balance, period. Depending on if it's, more fat or muscle. But you will have a different center of gravity, and if you're in good shape and a good core, probably do pretty good. That said, though, the lighter people, a poor cored, lighter person can also have a negative impact on horses. So the question is really good, but it's too hard to say, 20% is good. 20% is fine if you're doing normal sort of trail work, arena work, maybe. If you're well balanced and in good shape, and you're not going to flop all over the place or yank on the reins because your balance is poor when they go to take off and stuff like that. Those kinds of things really matter. They're really important. So I don't know if that answers the question. Who asked that? That was a good question.
Virgo.
Virgo.
Yeah. And
Good
then Carla
comments.
brought it to my attention. Okay.
Yeah, you just, and then the other side of it, thinking of weight, some people will ride with more than one person on a horse. That's usually very hard on a horse, because unless there's a couple of kids that are 100 pounds or something like that, you're probably going to get easily 120 to 160 per person. So you're already at the 240 to 320 range. It's got to be a pretty big horse. And they both have to have pretty good balance, and usually they don't. One's going backwards, one's hanging on to the other.
that would be
That
hard.
throws off the person on the front. So again, you got to take off 5 to probably 7% of that 20% if you're going to do 2 people. So you got to have a big horse, or just again really good balance and really skilled. I think that's what's fair. That's what's safe. That would be safe and reduce the amount of injuries to both person and horse. Because I've seen some crap out there where the horse just looks like it's just struggling to stand. I've seen some idiots riding minis too, full-grown adults sitting on a mini, and the thing's practically I can't talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, what's next one?
Victoria had initially asked, "Do you ever hobble a filly?" Now she's saying, "Is it wrong for my farrier to hobble my filly to work on her feet?"
Victoria, you have a filly. How old is this filly? Before I go too much further, just curious. Actually, I don't know if it matters. Okay, let's talk about hobbling. If your horse is trained to hobble, then I think hobbling is a good thing to do in cases where you need the horse to stick around.
It was 7 months.
7 months hobbled the horse?
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to make a judgment call from in front of a fire, comfortably drinking a glass of wine, not in the situation to see what your horse was doing. 7 months in, I would be curious to hear how the filly handled the hobbling. Was it the hobbling in the fronts, backs, or both? Probably the fronts. The reason for hobbling, could this horse tie at 7 months old? Probably not able to tie yet. Able to hobble? Well, I would wonder what how the decision was made to hobble. I'd wonder about the decision of why the horse couldn't be trained to hold up a foot, say spend a couple of weeks getting the front feet to just hold up, run a rasp really quick, put it down. If every day you did that, at the end of 2 weeks, you could probably trim them pretty good. Especially the babies, they learn so quick. And if you trim mom right next to the baby, you know, it's got to be halter broke, right? So you just kind of have it hang out with mom, trim baby a little, trim mom a little, trim baby a little. As they always say, the slow way is the fast way. You got to hobble a thing. Next time you pop out those hobbles, I bet that, I don't know, how did it go?
She hasn't responded yet.
I mean, that's what I want to know. How did it go? It's too hard to make a judgment. Would I do it? I'd hope not. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I never have. I've never had a reason to hobble a horse, so I haven't. I do want to train my horses to hobble for the day that I might need it. My horses can all handle ropes on their feet and around their feet. In fact, they can handle a lot of things.
What would be the point
On their
of
feet.
doing it? I
On
don't
their feet.
understand. Why would you hobble? What would it do?
Yeah, mine's getting warm being next to the fire. Oh, we're all up.
No. I'm just asking you a
it's true.
question you haven't answered.
Why hobble?
'Cause what is that thing?
Why
When
hobble
it
a
keeps
horse?
their feet together?
Okay, so one of the last live streams we had, who was it that put up a picture of the hobbles they used? They were nasty hobbles. Or no, were they normal? Were they chain-based hobbles? I can't remember. Anyways, somebody had put up a picture about hobbles, and people were like, "Oh, those are hobbles." Okay. So hobbles are essentially a way
Shackles.
to attach, or usually for the fronts, and but I mean, there's all kinds of hobbles out there. There are huck hobbles. There are anyways, I believe what was being talked about were hobbles for the front feet, and essentially it's just two leather pieces. Hopefully they're padded, and in between that is some kind of strap, leather or chain, and it essentially immobilizes the front end of the horse so that they can't walk, and in fact they have to hop their front end around.
She says that the baby would bite and was separated from mom.
The baby would bite and is separated from mom. Babies bite, you know, for many, like usually. I don't know enough about the situation. I couldn't say. I'm sorry. We'll just talk about what hobbling is for a second here, and maybe I'll think about it in the back of my head while I go. But essentially, you're hobbling a horse because you don't want them to go anywhere. So it's very common for, you know, cowboys, I guess you could say, or cattlemen. It's probably a better way to put it. Cattlemen who need to go out onto the range and they need to go find some cows and they got to stay out there. And they don't want, or they can't tie their horse, no trees around or something like that. So they just take the tack off and they hobble the fronts. They're not going to travel very far hopping around on their front feet. In fact, a lot of horses will just stand there and they won't go anywhere. Now, some people talk about ground tying, but that's only effective for so long before they're like, well, I can actually move, and they start to wander off a little. So hobbles.
So instead of like cross ties, you just put these things on basically. If you have nothing to
Well,
tie your horse to.
You're not generally going to use hobbles in a barn situation. You're going to use hobbles when you're out
Out
on the
somewhere. She says her farrier
range.
was an Amish man.
There are, I've never met anybody Amish, so I can't give a personal opinion. But I have yet to hear anything good about Amish practices with horses. For whatever that's worth. I've heard a lot of things, but I'm not speaking from personal opinion or preference. That is a loud truck.
She says my father was an Amish man.
And now
No, my farrier. My farrier.
Yeah.
Hi, I almost said father. I was like, oh no.
So I don't personally have an opinion whatsoever. I've never met any. I don't experience any. We don't have any Amish up here that I know of. But we don't have them up here. So, but I haven't heard a single good thing about the Amish and what they do to get things done with horses. From what I understand, they are all about the shortcuts. So, whatever that's worth.
Liza says standard breeds aren't too keen on the Amish in general.
Standard horses in general
Yeah,
are
so-
keen about the Amish in general.
She says, Victoria says, thank you very much.
So I do think that the hobble approach was a very big shortcut. But again, I wasn't there.
I can see you, so you don't have to look at the camera. I don't care, but all we can see is just fire.
You guys just see fire. That's cool.
The mysteries in the dark.
I can't see it, but I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's good. I think that the foal or filly would be better off with a slower approach. Get those front feet to pick up properly. Get the darn thing to stop biting. Work on making it feel safe and comfortable and not trapped. And I don't know why mom wasn't allowed to be around. Is mom aggressive? Does she not like anybody touching her baby horse? And if that's the case, then I would definitely start working on that, making sure mom's cool, that other humans are around, and that it's very safe, and it's not an aggressive thing. It's a very comfortable thing. You want to make it a little bit more a baby's idea to be around instead of sort of forcing it to happen the best that you can. You are setting up this horse for its long-term future. Now, it's not that you can't fix things. I mean, Grace is a great example of how things can be fixed with the right approach. I mean, I keep saying the same thing over again, but she wasn't trimmed for a long time because they thought that she had to be tranquilized to make it happen. Now, you guys have seen from the beginning that with the right approach, that can all be taken away. You can get them, horses can make changes really fast. So, but set them up for the best success as possible. I would probably make a light suggestion to see, do you have another option for another farrier for a second opinion on the place that you live? Is there somebody else that you can say, hey, how do you go about training? I mean, if you go looking on the internet, you're going to find a lot of other answers other than hobbling. I don't think anybody will suggest. I don't think anybody will suggest hobbling. It's really unusual. I've never heard of it.
Someone was just
Tying them?
not
Maybe.
for that. Like Barbara's saying, they were used in the fields by cowboys. It allows the horse to graze a bit without moving too far away.
Yeah, they just hop around.
No.
You know. And so, for me, I'd say no. If I were to give an opinion on what I would do, it wouldn't be that. I don't know of a situation that I would come across where I feel like I would do that to a 7-month-old horse. I would probably make strong suggestions to the owner to either find a trainer or become a trainer of your own horse and say, don't worry, you can get it done, I promise, but you've got to put in the time. And it can be very, very rewarding and very encouraging to both you and the horse and mom, you know, to grow that horse into a confident, comfortable with humans, handling its feet, because we have to consider what its feet are. Every horse, they need their feet to run. That's the first thing they do. Gracie's another great example of that. First thing she does is run. She wants to run. She's got to go. She's got to escape. And that's where we have to get to their mind. If you confine the body, you're rarely going to get to the mind. In my experience, freedom is the answer. Direction is the answer. Entrapment is not the answer. It's probably my take on it.
Yeah.
Entrapment is never the answer for me, outside of pure medical reasons. And that's a bit subjective, because if I've got a halter and a lead rope on, someone would say that you've trapped them. But I've confined them to a space with an escape route to move if they need to. And sometimes that could be enough to calm a horse down, to just have them move their feet a little. And a lot of times it's going to be an indicator of whether or not they're stuck. You might ask them to move and they won't. And it's because they're really afraid. But if you ask them to move and they move quietly, then you've got a good bead on whether your horse is in good mental shape. That's a long answer.
But a good one. I like that idea. Ada asked.
I don't.
Sorry, saying it wrong. Question: do horses recognize different people, or do we generally look at people as the same? And there's a follow-up to it. I lost the follow-up. I think she said, will they recognize them a long time later?
Horses.
Would they remember people after a long time? That's the follow-up.
It has been generally shown that horses have long-term memories. They absolutely differentiate between people. And I do believe, now I haven't been away from a particular horse long enough for me to prove this personally. I see all my horses very regularly. I see a lot of the horses that I've ever been around pretty regularly. So I don't have the opportunity to leave them and come back years later. That I've had some kind of good relationship with. But it is generally accepted horses absolutely remember people that they like and dislike, feel safe and unsafe, that you can see a measurable change. Not like a neutral person where they kind of like, oh, you're kind of cool. You know, they'll be relatively neutral, but something that they have an attachment to, feel particularly safe around or unsafe around. It's been proven that they do remember those things and will respond accordingly if you're looking.
Victoria's horse was an Appaloosa zebra mix.
An Appaloosa zebra mix.
Isn't that a
That
cool
is
thing?
neat.
So we're all talking about this. Like, how did this happen?
I have heard that. I've heard that zebras. I haven't heard enough, but I thought that zebras and horses couldn't mix properly. They were sort of like mules or donkeys that they couldn't breed, one or the other. Whichever one can't breed properly again. But I've heard that it's trouble. But then I've also heard that there is a mix of horse and zebra out there.
She says, my uncle rescues horses from the slaughter pipeline, so my Appaloosa mare was put with an intact male zebra.
A stallion zebra?
Yes.
Where do you get one of those from? Okay, we're back. Too close to the fire. There, something like that. Okay.
So Stella Bella wants to volunteer.
Stella wants to volunteer, that's
How
right.
does she not sound like a nut?
How does she not sound like a nut? I wouldn't worry about sounding like a nut. I think that, you know, a lot of horse people, anybody that comes here and says, oh, I mean, I had a father-daughter couple dropped by and said, she'd like to just randomly volunteer. She's done some horse club stuff or something. I don't think anything weird about that at all. I actually think it's really cool. And, you know, some places they might struggle to think that maybe they have to manage a volunteer or worry about a volunteer is going to get hurt. So those are the things you'd have to think about. I'd probably look online first and see if there's any place that's like on social media is very good for that, for your area. You can find farm groups or horse groups in your area, and you just put in a message, say, I just want to volunteer. That would be a good start. You know, and then of course you can look around for boarding places that board horses. They probably get a lot of people that come in and say, can I volunteer and help out? I just want to be around horses. So, but mostly everybody's going to be worried that you're going to get hurt, and they may or may not want to manage whether or not you're safe. So that's probably the biggest thing I'd worry about.
And most people that have horses or that have farms with horses, they got a lot of work. So they're happy to have volunteers. No?
I think most places that have horses that have a lot of work, even a volunteer comes in, most of the time you're just really worried if they're going to get hurt, because it's a liability thing. Unless you have insurance for that, or have some kind of document that releases them from any legal obligation to give you any money or to be responsible for your safety, you'll have a hard time.
So maybe one of those therapy places, because they're always taking volunteers.
Therapy places usually have an influx of volunteers during certain times, and other times they're running on bare bones, so you never know.
But I just meant maybe they have a better system in place for
Yes,
volunteers.
therapy places and some boarding places will have paperwork in place for volunteers.
Yeah.
So you'll have the best luck there. Unless you know somebody who has a friend, or you know a friend who has horses or something like that. And make some friends. It's a coin. Use it to
Oh, that's right. Also, come on. Stella says, I'm in a very small town. I put an ad on the net, but some wild, unwanted responses. Oh no.
Let's go on Facebook or
Of course,
something.
I would be doing this at my own risk. Yeah, I think your idea is good. Social media, find horse groups.
Yeah, find some horse groups. If you don't want to create a Facebook account, which a lot of people don't, you know, maybe if you can find a friend who has one, and just have them go on to a couple of horse groups that are local to you, or farm groups, because there will definitely be some. Facebook is full, and I mean full of local groups that want to share and talk and get advice and ask questions, and other people want to be big helpers, so they'll make the group so that a whole bunch of people will join so they can be big helpers. Yeah, that's probably the best thing.
And if you, as you say, it's a small town, then just look up either a phone book or Google boarding or training facilities near you. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I don't know if there'd be any.
It's hard. Good luck.
What would volunteers be made to do mostly?
What do volunteers get made to do mostly? In the beginning, they do clean up. You're going to be cleaning up stalls and paddocks. Volunteers, in my opinion, have to prove themselves that they actually want to tough it out. They're not just there just to do the good stuff kind of thing. Oh, I just want to be with horses. Yeah, okay, that's good, but are you willing to do the work and prove that you really want to be around horses? Um, and there'll be other things like brushing and maybe taking them from one place to another if you're at any bit, capable of doing such a thing. Um, the places that you're volunteering at are going to want to get to know you. And the way they're going to get to know you is by having you do things. And like it always says, anytime you want to get into a group of people, you want to come in saying you're going to do the work that nobody wants to do. And you'll get in there like a dirty shirt. So that's just a given. If somebody came to me and said, look, I want to volunteer and I'll just clean up. I'm here to clean up. I'm here to, do any of the tasks you don't feel like doing that'll save you some time. That'd be the fastest way to get into a place and have people interested in you, because you're kind of showing that you're really interested and you really care. So that's what volunteers would generally be doing. They wouldn't be doing, most people that are volunteering are usually unskilled in the area, in the horse area. You might get a couple here and there that might be volunteer riders that really want to ride horses, but that's because they probably don't want to lease and they just want to practice riding. And then you have to be careful whether or not they have the right riding qualities and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Good. She says thank you. Yes, that would be my attitude. Learn.
Yeah.
Yep.
You might not like what you're learning, so you never know. You might find the place like, ooh, I don't really like this way of doing things, and that would be okay.
What?
I don't think there was any. Someone who just dribbled the last week.
No, it's just because I have this little thing in, so it all.
Oh, that's like a little bit.
Like wiener weenies.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. It's a
It comes
stopper,
out.
but it pours it as though it's a sampling. See?
That's good.
It's so funny. I don't know why. I think it's partially an aerator, so it's filled with air, so it's tastier. Okay. Are there any of your videos you would recommend for gaining the confidence of a fearful horse? I have recently been given an Irish cob that was owned by gypsies.
Who's this?
S. Gibson. Owned by gypsies. How cool is that?
Gypsies.
I know,
Gypsies are vagrants.
We got half zebras. We've got gypsy-owned horses.
I have not heard anything good about a gypsy in regards to not stealing. Wait, I don't know. Maybe I only know the ones from Spain and Argentina and stuff like that. All the gypsies there are ready to pick your pockets and stuff like that.
Well, that's their reputation in the UK as well. I know that. But
Yeah.
that's
Gypsies are
hundreds
thieves.
of years old even.
No, it's real. It's to this day.
Yeah, I know that's their reputation to this day, but I'm sure it's not true. They're also tradesmen. I know in Ireland and
Oh, I'm not saying all
UK and
gypsies.
stuff.
I'm just kind of half joking around about
Yeah,
the
right.
reputation of gypsies. Anyway, so
You're
you
a
got
gypsy.
some Irish cob from a gypsy.
So Carlos said Gracie and Mustang videos would be good.
No zebras. I got a zebra cob.
Uh-oh, now we're being rude. It says Roma is generally a more appropriate word than gypsies.
Huh? How about that? Well, what do we know?
We were just told gypsies. We don't have
I've
such
only
a
heard,
thing
I've
here.
only heard gypsy,
Yeah.
the word gypsy ever in
And
my life.
they don't exist here. We don't
have any here.
We don't have any here at all. So
We have
Roma.
rednecks. We have hicks. What else have we got? White breads.
Pumpkins.
I don't know. We make
Country
fun of
bumpkins.
ourselves too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really sweat it, but if you don't,
Anyway, so
you gotta call them Romas. You call them
Romas.
Romas. Okay,
Say
cool.
Romas.
fine,
Cool.
fine.
Anyway.
Irish
She
cob.
says they
Okay.
do exist in Canada. Not in BC. I have no
Who says
idea.
that? Who says there's gypsies?
I do.
There's Romas in Canada.
Yeah, where?
I want to find me a Roma. Chitty chat.
She's saying stereotypes. That's what I said. That's what I said. They're not all like that. She's
Well,
saying, guys,
I
don't
know
lump me with
that.
him.
I know that. It's just a stereotype. Go ahead, move to Maple Ridge. I dare you. You'll be turned as a white redneck hick easily. That's what we all are. I'm not, but Jen is. So it's half and half at this point.
Yeah, I said
You're a
that.
redneck hick, right?
Oh yeah, I've always been on.
We're back again. The fire is steadily going out. What was the question? What was the last question that was on before it went
out.
Time, hold on.
Last question. What's the dog about? Cob. Irish Cob.
Yeah, fearful horse.
So a lot of
Fearful horse.
my videos are about bringing back horses from the emotional dead space of fear that has either already been there, it was instilled in them through poor training of some sorts. So I'd say any of the Mustang videos, yeah, absolutely. Carla did that. Mustang videos are great. That Mustang needed a lot of help in not being afraid of people, and I was quite successful at that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well.
So the Mustang ones are really good. But
Actually, yeah, she might be one of the best because she was the most fearful.
yeah.